Hey everybody, Blair Nightingale here. 3 strategies to help you build a summer trading plan. That is today's episode. Of course, it is Monday, and that means it is time for the Market Monday. Market Monday, giving you something every single Monday. We're either going to look at the market itself, or I'm going to give you something useful, equip you in some way to be more confident in your journey to becoming a successful, consistent stock trader. Some of you guys are brand new to stock trading. Some of you feel like you're less than brand new in that you're just curious. Some of you, of course, have been stock trading for years. You may even be in some of our Tradeway programs. So I just want to welcome you guys, as always, to the Market Monday broadcast. I'm excited about this. This is going to be a practical session. We are definitely going to look at ourselves in the mirror a little bit to get some real important foundation and motivation to reach our goals, and then some practicals, as I said, application to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success. Now, before I get into all that, as I always say, we're going to have people on here live today. Most of you are going to be joining us on the recording. Hey, if you're listening to this on a recording and you just can't meet us on Facebook, YouTube at 6 p.m. Central, we're so happy to have you on here regardless. But if you ever can jump over, what's the benefit for all our folks out there who are watching live? Get to ask questions, get to dive in with me. So I want to encourage you to do that. For those who are live tonight, thank you so much for being here. As always, excited for Mondays. I love Thursdays. There's something about Mondays, man. I love it too. So happy to be here. If you've got any questions, as always, any comments, go ahead, drop them in that comment box. Let me know you're here. As I always say, they will let me know that you're in the webinar. It won't necessarily tell me who you are, and I love to know who you are, where you're from, what's going on. Of course, we usually get our weather update from a few folks around the country, but you can ask me anything you want about the markets, finances, news. We've talked about crypto. We've talked about markets. We've talked about money. We've talked about taxes. We're going all across the board here to help you feel like you are, as I always like to say, a powerful participant in your money. This world does not teach us a lot about money, and yet a lot works by and for and because of our money, doesn't it? So no doubt that's why you're here tonight. 3 strategies to building a summer trading plan. That's what we're going to get into today. Ruben says, good afternoon, Blair, and everybody else on the broadcast. Looking forward to a great session. And Troy says, present. Troy, thanks for being here, man. All of you guys. Jeffrey, I see you there. No luck on Facebook. Looks like we might be having a little bit of trouble on Facebook. Looks like we've got some people here from Facebook, but if you are struggling on there, or it's cutting in and out, or something's happening, remember you can always jump on over to YouTube, which, by the way, is where you can go back and watch all of the previous episodes of Market Monday, Stock Talk Thursday, and all of our other awesome programming that we do here at Tradeway. Just check it out right there on our YouTube page. Okay, so thank you for being here. 37 and raining in Colorado Springs. Got to tell you guys, 60 degrees in Texas right now. I literally walk out the door in the morning and I thank Jesus, because I know the heat is coming. Summer is coming, and that is what we're talking about today. As I've said, 3 strategies to help you build a summer trading plan. I want to say this is part of the inspiration for this, right? I know some people, all right, personally, but I've also heard this outside of those people, okay? But specifically, I talk to people, and over the years trading, they will say, you know what, I've just been busy this year, lots going on. The summer, that's not to say everybody has a bunch more time in the summer, but things definitely shift for a lot of people. The summer, man, I'm gonna get some extra time. I'm gonna dig in. I'm gonna get trading in the summer. I'm gonna go after some breakthrough. And then the summer goes by and nothing happened, nothing new, right? And it's not to say that they quit necessarily, but they just didn't get out of it what they'd hoped to get out of it. That season, that time, especially if we do have a little bit of extra time in the summer, and no doubt, no matter what your situation is, what your family situation, kids, vacation, whatever the case might be, that time is going to be filled in pretty quick, if not already. So I want to get to you today and help those of you out there who are committed to trading, right? You want to take a step in the process of trading, and you are going to take that time. By the way, this could be applied to the summer, and I think that's a unique time for people. You could apply most of what I'm going to tell you tonight to any time of year. In fact, I'm going to come back to this in a bit. The best time to start is right now, right? Right now. So there's 3 tips, right? 3 simple tips for setting up a trading plan. Now, we've talked on Market Monday about a specific technical trading plan. Where am I going to get in? Where am I going to get out of the stock? Where am I going to stop out the stock? We've talked about that. Today, I want to help you be equipped to make sure that your trading business, not just your single trades, but your trading business is on track. So a lot of folks with the best of intentions, and I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. So what are some of these things that we can do? Okay, here's the first thing I want you to ask. This is number 1, right? Troy says, vacation time for the big boys. If you don't know who the big boys are, we talk about the big boys all the time here at Tradeway. Big boys are really those big money managers out on Wall Street, okay? For the most part, on Wall Street, the big investment banks, billions and billions of dollars in buying and selling, investing on Wall Street. The hedge fund managers, big hedge funds, mutual funds, big money there as well. So those are the prime examples. They are really the market movers, okay? And they do some interesting things in the summer. Although I was thinking about this last year, was a little bit different. We usually see the volume. The shares traded can drop significantly. Last summer was obviously a very unique year. I haven't done an exact year-on-year volume analysis, but the market movement, the pattern, pretty solid. So we're in our uncharted territory here, and so we'll see what happens with the big boys there, Troy, but that is definitely something to consider. Like I said, summer can be a unique time in the market, but again, very unique for a lot of us as well. So here's what I want you to ask yourself. This is number 1 tonight, all right? 3 strategies. Here's the first part of your strategy, okay? This is actually very, very important. Anytime we set an intention or a goal, okay, this is very important. I want you to ask yourself, do I really want to trade? Now, you might think, well, that's kind of a funny question, Blair, but think about that for a second, right? Do I really want to trade? Okay, ask yourself. I've got my notes here. Do you really have desires to change your finances? Okay, you say right there, you want to jump in and say yes. Okay, well, hold on. All right, I'm with you on that. Do you have desires to change your finances that outweigh the norms that you live in right now? That's the question, right? If we're going to set an intention, if we're going to set a plan, if I'm going to give you tips, if I'm going to show you, then these aren't just tips. This is a strategy. This is what puts it in place. This works. This is how we set goals and crush them. But if I set all of that, but I don't really have the intention necessary, well, then it doesn't really matter that I make the plan. And that's why my friends, God bless them, and certainly I've done this too, have an intention for a season of life, but come through the other side, barring obviously, some of the very disruptive events in life. Of course, I don't want to make light of that, but most of the time coming out of that season and going, well, we didn't quite get there. But I want you to get there. I want you, those of you out there today who are listening to this and you're saying, you know what? I really want to do this. I really want to move forward. I've been saying lately, a seat at the table. Well, what does that mean? It means there are people all around getting different breakthroughs. I celebrate them, but I don't just want to watch. I don't just want to watch. I felt like the Holy Spirit said to me last year, guys, this is definitely not in my notes, but I like to watch boxing champions. Since I was a little boy, I've loved boxing. I've loved champions. I've loved the price they pay, the training they go through. I'm a Rocky movie fan, all that kind of stuff. And I felt the Holy Spirit prompt me one day and say, Blair, I was watching a documentary, all right, about a boxer. And he said, Blair, do you want to watch champions or do you want to be one? Right? Do you want to watch? You want to be one. You want to see the transformation around you? Well, we can celebrate that for sure, and I hope we do. But what about the celebration for you? Right? What about the breakthrough for you? What about the overflow in your life to your spouse, to your kids, to your community, to your church, to your coworkers? You say, Blair, it doesn't all come down to money, does it? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But that's what we're talking about today, right? And if you struggle with that, you should join me for our upcoming 5-day Faith and Finance Challenge, because we're going to obliterate the shame and fear that we have about money. We're also going to obliterate the idolatry that we're afraid of when it comes to money. Okay, that's in an upcoming challenge. But do you want to watch champions or do you want to be one? Do you want to be a successful trader? Do you want to be a successful business owner? Do you want to be able to bless beyond what you ever thought you could or would? Right? I want you to ask yourself, do I really have the desires to change my finances that are intense enough to outweigh the norms, the comforts that I live in today? Because if we don't, then the norms and comforts we live in today are going to sway us to do the same thing. If I use the same energy, right, same tactics, same commitment, I say energy, right, power. If I use the same power that created my today to create tomorrow, guess what? Tomorrow will be the same as today, right? I can't use the same bricks and build something totally different. It doesn't work. So what do? Right? We've got to come to a decision. And I call this the pain-pleasure tipping point, right? The pain-pleasure tipping point. Here's a couple of simple questions to ask yourself out there tonight. All right? I want you to start with this, okay? This is going to be individual. This is going to be for individuals to just get in your mind right now. If you're watching with a friend or your family or your spouse, just keep it in your mind. Maybe you discuss with one another. That's up to you guys. But I want you to think, what is the monthly goal? Okay, I want you to pick a monetary number, right? A monetary goal. What is the goal in your head? I don't want you to go to, sky high, right? If we go too far, this is actually proven in psychology. If we make the goal too big, too far, it doesn't have, you can't trick your brain with that. Your brain is going to know, nah, that's a pipe dream, right? So we want to stay within reach. Now I want you to pray. I want you to think big when you do this in the future, right? I don't want to get stuck thinking small, but I want you to get a number in your head right now, okay? What's the number where things for you start to tip, right? Where it really starts to get felt. You're feeling the difference month to month, quarter to quarter, year on year. You're building, right? You're building. What's that number for you? Okay, some of us have never slowed down long enough to define this, and this is important. What's that number for us? Now, you may not be there today. You may not get there next month. That's totally fine. We're in a process, but that's the number. Right? That's the breakthrough that we are saying, hey, that'd be worth fighting for. Okay. And then go a little bit deeper. Okay. That's the monthly goal. How much would you like to make per month? Keep that in mind. Ask yourself, what are the top 5 things? You got your note takers out there? I think you should write this down, right? I've got that number in mind. All right, let's take the top 3 even. Let's keep it real simple. What are the top 3 things that you could begin to do if that number was rolling into your bank account? What are the top 3 things? I want you to think about what they actually are. I want you to see them, right? I want you to connect to what is possible, right? Possibility is the boundary line of expectation, right? Expectation is the boundary line of possibility. What does that mean? It means when I start to connect with something that is actually possible, right? Which happens when I actually define, this is the amount I want to make. This is what I could do with it. I start to automatically kick into a mode that says, I could do that. I could actually, if I did that, these are the positive things that would start to happen. And it's motivating. It motivates us, right? It motivates us. I'm not talking about, weird law of attraction here. I'm just talking about you and I defining our goals and concentrating the desire that we have to pursue the things that actually matter, because it will help us say yes. A strong yes is a strong no. A strong yes is a strong no. Okay, I see some questions there. I'll come back. Darlene, thank you for chiming in. I see you there. Troy, I see your comment. I'll come back to that. What are the top 5 things I'll do? What will I finally be able to do? Right? Define it. Don't let me fill in the blanks. Define it for yourself. I will finally be able to do this. Okay? What will you finally be able to solve? What will you finally be able to alleviate? Right? And again, we don't have to go way to the moon right now, right? We can just say, well, if I had that monthly tipping point, what's the direction that you're going to be headed in if you started to get that? Right? I can't always transform my condition overnight, but I can transform my direction in a moment. What pains or issues will you start to finally avoid? Right? What dreams do you have that will be initiated or furthered? You see how I'm doing this? You see what I'm saying? These are the things that cause us to look in the mirror and go, that matters to me. Because you know what this culture wants to do, guys? It wants to put us on the hamster wheel and just keep us going. Busy. Going. Next thing, consumption, absorption, repeat. And I'm not saying that you guys are out there like that necessarily, right? I mean, I because you're on here tonight, because you're investing like this, we all have done that. I have done that, right? So I'm not pointing the finger at you guys or even myself right now, except to say that how easy is it for all of us to fall into that, right? How many times have we had an intention that as soon as there was disruption, then there was abandonment, and we don't get the breakthrough, and we don't get the seat at the table. And the summer's coming. There's a season coming. It's called tomorrow, and it's there for the taking. And I want you guys to be motivated, intensified, focused on what it is you want, and believe. You say, I don't believe I can do this. Well, listen, I can show you how to trade. You will have to settle with the Lord. This is Blair's opinion, right? Whether or not it's right for you, okay? So that's number 1. Do you really want to say it one more time? Do you really want to trade? Because a lot of people want to make more money, right? There's a difference between a wish and a conviction. What's the difference? Main difference? Action. right? And sometimes we just need permission from somebody, from somewhere. We need some faith for someone to say, hey, you can do this. Now, right now, I'm talking about trading. I could be talking about a lot of different things right now, right? But sometimes we just need somebody to say, hey, there is a resource for you to help you be successful. You don't have to do this alone. Of course, that's what we do here at Tradeway, right? So that you can transfer from, I don't think I can do this. So it just stays a wish to, you know what? People are doing it. Why can't I? And that's the question. Why not you? Why not you? Why not me? Okay? Because I don't want to be somebody who just says, you know what? I'd like to make some more. That'd be good. I wish. Be cool. Yeah, that'd be nice. And there are people doing it in many, many different ways. Of course, this is one potential way. So that's number one. Number two, when you know, right? We just covered this. When you know that you are a person of action and that you are going to prioritize your trading, my trading, right? I hope you guys know whenever I'm on these, especially when we're covering mindset stuff like this, I try to stay conscious at all times. I'm speaking to y'all, but I'm speaking to me. And I get myself fired up over here, all right? So this is as much for me as it is for you. You're going to prioritize your trading, right? When you know that, then the next step for you is, I just said this, it's a step of action. It's a step of action. Some of us are just starting, okay? Some of us are further along. We're at different spots on the journey, okay? So you maybe you have not taken action. Well, hey, if you're here, you're listening, recording, or live, you've taken action. Most of you, this isn't your first time. Some of you it is. Welcome. This is your step of action. Clearly, you're searching. Clearly, you're looking for something to upgrade this area. Perhaps you're just curious. Well, I'm telling you, this is something that can change lives. Wherever we are, ask yourself, what do I need to do to put some skin in the game? Skin in the game is a nice way of saying, I have some commitment. Why is commitment important? Right? Well, when there's no commitment to action, then there's no connection to an outcome. You want the outcome, you've written it down, you've thought about it, but you're actually still not connected. Now, I said we can't transform our state overnight necessarily, but we can transform our direction in a second. How do we do that practically? We've got to take action. We've got to make some kind of a commitment. Here are some basic things. Okay, ask yourself, what do I need to do to put some skin in the game? Some of you guys know. You know what you need to do now, right? Some of you do not, okay? I talk in my course on keys to breakthrough, 7 keys to breakthrough. Okay, these are breakthrough strategies that I have used many times over the course of my life in the best, most abundant breakthrough, dream fulfilled, obtaining promises, chasing God seasons to the hardest, deepest, darkest seasons of my life. That's where these keys to breakthrough have come from. One of them is called burning. I usually say burn the ships, but burning the ships. Okay, some of you have heard this before, and I don't necessarily have time to go into all of what's in that key specifically, but the idea of burn the ships came from when an explorer named Cortez landed in Central America in the 1500s, and he knew that the way forward was going to be it was going to require commitment to a level that he knew he and his men just did not currently have. So what did he do? He lit the ships on fire. He scuttled all the ships, set them on fire, sunk the ships, sent one of them back to Spain, okay? So that there was literally no way to go backwards. Some of us need to make a commitment so that we know we are moving forward. And if something is holding us back, then that gives us a great indication of where we need to focus on setting a little fire, if you know what I mean, right? getting us into a place where there's no way to go back. Because if you did what I just said in number 1, and you see the thing that matters and it's worth it, and you don't want to continue living on that hamster wheel and not seeing those things fulfilled, you want your seat at the table, as it were. There are things you want to begin to solve, pains you want to begin to avoid, right? And I don't mean avoid in the unhealthy way. I mean solve, heal, change, redirect, right? Then isn't it worth the commitment that is necessary? The difference between people who do things and people who don't do things in life is that the people who do things, right? The people who do something and the people who don't. What's the difference? People who do something. They do something, right? I believe it is, I'm going to think of his name in a second here. Dave Ramsey says, we got to live like no one else so we can live like no one else. Robert Frost, I took the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I'm hammering on this tonight because it's so important. This is a huge key to breakthrough, and it is the one that jump starts you, okay? Putting some skin in the game. So get into a program. If you're not connected yet, get connected, okay? I'm going to show you some options, but you got to get connected somewhere so that there is a flow into this area of your life, right? You don't have to use only your energy. You can leverage ours, right? Reach out to a coach. I mentioned already, there are people on here tonight. I know you're already connected to us. You're already in the program. Reach out to a coach, right? We've got a new integrity program. We actually just launched today where you can easily, quickly in our program, send in all your trades to us, right? I don't see your brokerage account. I don't see your bank account. You just check in with me and let me know, this is the trade I made. I followed my plan. I didn't follow my plan. Blair, I'm on track for the summer. Blair, I'm not on track for the summer. Help me out. You have direct access. Wow. What an incredible resource where I come to work to do what? To help you get to the place that you described in number 1 tonight. That's what I want for you, right? That's what I want. So get into something. Commit to your spouse. Or someone in your life. Here's a simple one. This is my intention. This is my goal. This is what I'm going to do. This is my plan for the summer, right? This is the plan. This more specific, the better, right? You don't have to write out a plan that says I commit 60 hours a week to just consistent setting a plan in place. This is how I'm going to move forward, and do it with somebody who you know sets an intention and keeps it. Who's somebody in your life who does that? You know, for a lot of Tradeway students, they'll come to the coaches for that kind of a thing. So if you don't have somebody in your life to do that, that's another way you can leverage us. But that's the kind of person I would suggest you speak to. Somebody else who understands what it's like to commit to it and get to that place. And of course, you may already be that person. So you've got those people around you too. I trust we have many people like that out there tonight. I'm sure that I am right about that. So this is setting the foundation, the motivation and the focus. Because I said I can give you the things to do, but if we don't have this in place, it's really not going to matter. It'll seem like an okay 45 minutes that you spent with me tonight, but in the end, it actually won't do any good. For 9 out of 10 of us, it will do no good. Because if these pieces aren't in place, then the personal intention is not in place. And if that's not in place, then when disruption comes, it's over. Right? It's over. I've told you guys before, you know, I'm at a season in my own life where I'm inviting mentors in. Mentors who are on higher levels, much higher levels than me, And they are pushing me, man. They are pushing me. But it's so good. It's so good because it's producing new fruit. And that's the pain pleasure tipping point. And then I'm going to get to number 3. Once the pleasure of the new commitment starts to flow, guess what happens? The pain of the new commitment starts to go. That's what happens. It's awesome. It's awesome. You know why I get excited about that? Because it tells me that if I have the right partnership, in my life, then I can set my intention to the things that God has called me to, and I know that I will get there. And once the tipping point happens, the pleasure of doing the new thing becomes its own ecosystem. And now it's not even about discipline anymore. I don't have to live by discipline in yesterday's breakthroughs. They just come naturally now because I get so much good out of them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I making sense out there tonight, guys? All right. David says the personal intention is in place. Yes. And that's it. Right? So you've got that. All right, Blair, I've got that. Thank you for that, David. Right? I've got that. So what do I do? All right. So let's get practical in trading. This is number 3. Okay. What are some things I could do? Now, I want to say this again. I mentioned that we've gone over trading plan, right? We could pull up a chart tonight. We can go through patterns. I can set up a trading plan. And we've done that on previous episodes. And to be honest, we do that almost every day in our trading programs. Okay. That's something we major on. And then from there, I even spent a good amount of time talking to a handful of my students one-on-one. I do 1-hour sessions with them on the phone. And we're specifically talking about their trading results, their trading plan. Okay, so that's the next level. But what can you do specifically for this summer to get this in place? All right, I've got this intention, as David said, in place. Jane Doe says yes. I'm going to assume Jane is saying personal intention is in place. Cindy says absolutely. Cindy's on board. It's in place. If you're on board, listen, I'm a little fired up tonight. If you're on board, go ahead, put it in the comments. You're not even putting it in there for me. You're putting it in there for you. Just say, this is gonna happen. I'd say go back to number 1. If you haven't really fleshed that out, go back to number 1. If you have, man, pop it in there. Love that. Okay, so let's get practical. So we've covered a lot of these things in different episodes. I wanted to give you a list here for efficiency, right? Efficiency of your time this summer, right? In any season, really. Let's just list them out, okay? So here's some ones I want you to be aware of. Okay, so use your learning, and I mentioned this, to develop a simple plan. What am I looking for in the markets? I can't tell you, I can't overemphasize how important it is to know when I go to the markets, am I in study and learning mode, or am I in seek and destroy mode, right? Meaning, am I just learning? Am I looking for patterns? Am I drawing some lines? Am I checking out option chains for our option traders out there? Am I learning? Am I educating? Am I practicing? Okay. Versus I am small money, or perhaps we're beyond the small money phase for some of our advanced students out there. We move from a paper trade, small money, to real money trades, or bigger money trades, I should say, which is different for everybody. But if I'm into my real money trading, okay, that's probably going to look different than just going and studying. Now, why do I make that distinction? Well, I make that distinction because I can go and open up my charting software and I can float around in there, say maybe for an hour, okay? And I can say I'm practicing patterns and I'm jumping around and I have an intention, but it's not really to trade. I think we need to delineate the two, because when I go into trade, okay, I don't just want to open up my laptop 8:30 Central Time in the morning when the market opens here. You know, maybe it's 9:15. I just open it up. I got my coffee. I'm like, I wonder if there's a trade out there today. And I go flipping through the charts. That's not the time to do that. I want to know what I am looking for. You're going to learn different patterns. You're going to learn different strategies. There's a reason for that, right? We're trying to give you what you actually need for different market environments, right? It's not one size fits all, right? And if it is just doing stock trades, make money when the stock goes up, then that just means there's more times where you will have to know it's time to trade. Okay, now it's not a good time for stock trades, so I'm not going to be in the market. And of course, we help you understand when those times are, but you don't want to go in my opinion, and just float through and find a trade. That also wastes a tremendous amount of time and has a high potential to get you into what I call B- plays, right? Not A+. We don't want A- even. We want A+, okay? We want to know that we are trading the better or best opportunities that we can find, okay? So I think this is a huge key in doing that. Cindy says, how do I schedule a 1-hour consult with Blair? All you'll have to do to schedule something with me is send an email. I can tell this for everybody tonight, support@tradeway.com. Okay, support@tradeway.com. And then you will be able to get the details of how to set that up. Simply put my name in there, Blair Nightingale, and they'll send that on over to me. I'm always available to help. So that's one thing. Thank you for that, Cindy. Number 2, watch lists pairing, actually, but watch lists. Okay. You want to have a watch list. There's 8,000 plus publicly traded companies out there, right? And even more when we start talking about the ETFs and some of the other things. A lot of charts is what that means. A lot of charts. Well, what are the better companies? Which ones tend to have better options, better stocks, better patterns, right? We narrow a lot of that down for you. So then you have a bigger list. And I've taught you in the past how to take a bigger list and narrow that down by pattern, put that into another list. So throughout the week, when you don't have as much time, you're not going through 150, 250 plus stocks every time. You're just going through them maybe once or twice a week at most. And then you're going to your smaller lists. You're going to your smaller lists from there to save time. Okay, to save time. So pare your list down. You start bigger and you work your way down. And we have covered that in the past as well. I said this already, okay? Tell your spouse or anyone you need to what your schedule is going to be. Tell them your intention, okay? And I mean literally in this case, scheduling, right? Right? That's time management 101, right? It's entry level. Am I just going to schedule it in? You know, I got this beautiful iPhone here. The thing will do anything for me, it seems. And it just reminds me, I have more reminders in there now than I've ever had because I'm going after more right now than I ever had. And I'm trying to keep my life in balance. And I know you guys are too. So simple, wouldn't be complete if I didn't say, look, we got to schedule it in there. Plus, we're also going to be making commitments, right? And there are people in our lives that when we make commitments, they make the commitment too, don't they? So preparing now for what that'll look like is important. It is important. And of course, you know the degrees of which, you know, that needs to be done. But now is definitely the time to do it, not in the summer. Okay, next up, I mentioned this, kind of does everything, right? Alarms, setting alarms on the phone, okay? In our Insider Plus program, we specifically go over that. And I'll be honest with you, I've told you guys in the past as well, right? You get some freebies here on Market Monday. So you got to stick around, but we set up alarms on the phone. You don't have to be in front of the stock chart all the time, right? I take 10 minutes every night. I don't need more time than that right now. Why? Because I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for, and that cuts out everything else, what I'm not looking for. So I set alarms. And then it takes me about 10 minutes. And then the next day, the market opens. If I get a ding, then I know time to pop up the market. Now, obviously, working at Tradeway and helping students, I tend to be in the markets pretty soon anyway. But you never know, right? I might be away from my laptop for a bit. I might be off in the gym. I might be getting grocery. I mean, life is happening, and it's going to ding and let me know. Okay. So setting alarms, huge, huge. I don't have 58 alarms. It's not really complicated, right? But it is something that definitely helps a lot. Here's another one. Any of this stuff, if any of this has landed for you tonight, I would say, let's not wait until the summer, right? If it's not easy to do today, likely it's not easy to do tomorrow, right? If there's a reason I can put it off today, that reason will probably be available tomorrow. Now, that's not to say for all of us that there are never legitimate reasons for doing something at a different time. Of course, all adults here, so that is without saying perhaps. However, we all know the procrastination monster and what it does. Hey, listen, you could do that tomorrow. You could do that later, right? Well, okay, I can't wait a week, but I can wait till tonight. I can wait till tomorrow. And every time we do that, it's like a muscle. It just gets a little bit stronger, right? It gets a little bit stronger. And then when we do have the intention to get it done, that's when something pops up that we can't negotiate with, we can't ignore. And the opportunity we missed before needed to be the time we did it, right? If I can do things when I can do them, then I won't need to do them when I can't do them. So that's huge, and certainly not going to be easier come June or July, right? So this is important now, right? May 10th, 60 degrees outside. I said, love it so much. Not exactly summer yet, but definitely getting ready. Definitely getting ready. You know, if you think your financial condition, like your physical shape, right? If you were going to go have a nice holiday on the beach in the summer and you wanted to get beach ready, would you start the week before? No, none of us would start the week before. We would start the season before at least, right? Takes time, but we can set that intention today and we can head in a new direction. Last one, certainly not least, I would highly recommend write your answers from section 1 out. Somebody said, Jane said, I definitely need to rewatch this tonight. Okay. We're packing it in here. Going back to section 1, write that stuff down and put it somewhere you can see it, right? Put it somewhere you can see it. I'm going to go into this a little bit more in the Faith and Finance Challenge coming up. You guys can watch. There'll be some opportunities to sign up for that coming. But we go into some specific tools to write down and define what we talked about in section 1. I would say go back to that, write them out, put them where you can see them, pray over them, tell somebody in your life who prays for you, who you trust, tell them what it is, get it active, get it visible. Don't just have it in front of your eyes tonight while Blair is talking. Keep it in front of your eyes. Keep those things that move you. It's up to you and God to remove anything from your list that he doesn't want on your list that doesn't belong there. That's between you and him. But everything that belongs there should keep in front of your eyes. And I've said this for years. You know, you watch Israel come into the promised land. There are times they learn this lesson very quick, right? There are things that God says that's not for you. And they were expected to take nothing that was not for them. Nothing. But at the same time, they were expected to utterly and completely occupy everything that was given to them. Now, again, talking about more than just finances here, aren't I? But I certainly am talking about that too, right? So we want to keep these things in front of our eyes, write them every day. I'm just going to wind down here. We're just about 45 minutes tonight. I'll close with this for this session. There was a study they did, and I'll be honest, you could Google, find it right away. I don't remember if this is Harvard or Stanford. Pretty sure it's Harvard. And they followed a graduating class, okay, for some time, years, okay, almost 2 decades, I believe. And what did they do with this graduating class? Well, they measured where they ended up in terms of their career and how much money they were making. And they did it in 3 different sections. What do I mean by that? I mean, they looked at the students who graduated and did not know what they wanted to do, right? They did not have a defined goal. Then there was a second group that had a defined goal. This is what they wanted to do, and this is what they wanted to make. There was a third group, and in the third group, they not only defined what they wanted to do and what they wanted to make, but they wrote it down every day. Can you guess who overwhelmingly worked in the fields that they intended to work in and made significantly more money? I want to even say they made more money than the other two groups combined, okay? I'd have to go back and read that. You could find this easily if you Google it. It's a famous study. But it's not hard to see that clarity is power, right? Clarity is power. So write it down. Write it down. And maybe you're like me. You're not perfect. You don't do it every day. Well, we can move forward, but we got to start. We got to start. Be a person of action. Remember, I'm speaking to myself tonight. So I'm going to say this for me. I'm going to say this for you. And then I'm going to let you know something that we've got coming up that you could partner with us on. Be a person of action, right? Even if nobody else is, especially if nobody else is. You know what you're going to be? You're going to be an inspiration to them. And even if you're not, you're going to be moving forward into the things that you know are available to you. Be a person of action. Command your direction, right? Command your direction. Commit your way. See it through. I love that because it tells me that we can get there. And I'm not one of those people, if you've been around any of my teaching or coaching here at Tradeway, I'm not one of those people who believes that it's all coming down to me, right? We have a big God and he runs the show, right? I say that to the Lord sometimes. It's your show. It's your show. If you want me to pivot, I'll pivot. If you want to do that instead, we'll do that. I gave up that fight a long time ago. It's his show, right? The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but the victory belongs to the Lord. So prepare the horse for the day of battle. Do everything that you possibly can, and then trust him to do what you possibly could not, right? So I'm popping in here right now. This is a link to our step 1, start your journey. For those of you out there, I'm going to say this quick tonight, guys. This is important, right? This is the connection point. Step 1, start your journey. 2-day course, less than $100. I've said it on here before. You cannot lose. You cannot lose with this, right? This is $99 for 2 days of life-transforming, pivotal financial training. Okay, that's what this is. You're going to learn our foundational system to stock trading. Anybody who's come into Tradeway and changed their life started right here. They started at a step 1. They started at a step 1. So let us be that in your life. Sign up for that step 1. You can do it from home. For those of you who are further along, okay, we have memberships. Maybe it's time for you to move up in your membership, right? If you haven't learned options yet, it's time to learn options, right? If you're not a Trader Pro and you're in our Max program, it might be time to look at getting that next level of coaching. As one of our friends asked earlier, Cindy said, how do I get some one-on-one time? Okay. Anything that you want, you can send me an email. This is support@tradeway.com. Support@tradeway.com. Address it to Blair Nightingale. Any questions you have, I may feature it next time on a show if you tell me that's okay. But if you're looking for a specific step to take, a program, then you and I can discuss what that would be and how that could work for you. I am here, as I always say, to help you guys win. I hope you felt that tonight. I hope you heard that tonight. This is the passion for my own life. This is the passion for my own family. And I'm just at a place where I'm saying, you know what? I'm so thankful for all the people around me who are running and running well. And I don't just want to watch them. I don't just want to watch them. I want to run too. And I want you guys to run with us. So that's how you can get a hold of me. If it's time to move up, it's time to move up. If you haven't started, join the step 1, start your journey, and I will promise you, right? We can't promise much at Tradeway, right? We can't. That's just not how this industry works. And that's not how trading works. But I'll promise you this, you're going to get 2 days of information. You're going to leave that event and go, wow, that's a lot. Not that it's complicated, but we're not going to skim the top, right? We're going to give you the goods in this 2-day event. So what's the difference? Oh, this is a great question. I was singing a lot last night. My voice is a little rough. That's actually not supposed to happen. If there's some singers out there, you're probably thinking that. What's the difference between the 30-day challenge versus the 2 days? I love this. This is a great question. Okay, so the 30-day challenge. Now, for those of you that don't know, we do a 30-day challenge. So you will get signed up. We actually just started it. You'll get 30 days. There's some rest days in there on Sundays. But you'll get 30 days of content. Little bite-sized pieces of content from us. Plus, you'll get coach interaction because we'll be doing some live broadcasts once a week for 4 weeks. Okay, so some folks, instead of coming and doing the 2-day event, which is more of an intensive, right? They will do the 30-day challenge. If it fits your schedule, you can do the 30-day challenge. In fact, while you're bringing that up here, I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can't get you guys the link for that. Actually, I can't get you the link for that right now because that's the second thing I'm going to say. The 30-day challenge, obviously, it starts on a rotation. So if you miss the start of it, then we've got to wait till the next challenge, okay? So what you can do, and this is what a lot of people do, is you join the 2-day event. If you can join us for the 2-day event, come in there. You're going to get so much out of that. Then when we do, because we don't do the 30-day challenge every month, okay? We don't do it every month, but we'll do it every couple of months. You'll be able to then go into the challenge and the coach interaction, the lives, the screen shares like we sometimes do here on Market Monday would then be a good step for you to get into the 30-day challenge. But I will say this, both the step 1 and the 30-day challenge, just different schedules, right? If one fits different people better than the other might, but they're really both to give you the foundation. So if you're just starting out, we've got that 2-day event coming up. That's going to be the soonest, easiest way for you to get in. And then there's an opportunity to do the challenge at a later time as well. They're both very inexpensive, okay? Very inexpensive to do either one. So that is not such a consideration for that. But the 30-day, yeah, you just have to wait a little bit on that one is how that works. Troy also mentioned you're going to get that step 1 book. Yeah, you will. You'll get the step 1 workbook. So you'll understand, be able to review and study that system out of there. Okay. You'll get pieces of that in the 30-day challenge as well. So that's a great place for us to start. So for those of us who have not, hey, there's your action. Take some action. Do something. Do multiple things. Layer upon layer, right? Burn those ships. I know I'm speaking to somebody there. Sometimes, guys, and I will close with this, sometimes that has been, man, it's been one of we like to call that a step of faith, right? We like to call that a step of faith. And I'm not trying to spiritualize everything tonight, guys, but that's language we're familiar with. And it certainly has. For me, burning the ships in my life, there's been some big steps of faith, you know? And when I let the conviction that I have lead me, that's often been the only way to get that breakthrough. Because we often can't become the person we were meant to be staying in the environment that we are now meant to leave. Okay? That environment is creating the person that I am right now. It's feeding that identity. And that's not even to say it's bad. It may not be. But if I want to go to another level, then my environment has to go to another level. My energy, which I don't have, I create, right? Right? I have to generate is a better word, right? I have to generate new energy. And that's what we help you do. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking around with me tonight. We had a great show. We're going to be back on Thursday. Of course, we've got our Tip Tuesday, Word Wednesday. So lots of good Tradeway stuff coming up. Like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and you will be able to get notifications anytime we go live. It's been my pleasure. Goodbye to everybody who came onto the live and is out there watching or rewatching the recording. If you have any questions, support at tradeway.com, and I will hook you up. Thank you so much, and good night.